The text was never meant to reach her. Sweaty palms, a distracted mind, and a phone screen that didn't always listen had led him to hit send before he realized his mistake. A flirty, awkward message, meant for someone he barely knew, had accidentally landed in the inbox of the cold, untouchable CEO he'd always admired from afar. He stared at his phone, heart hammering, imagining the worst-case scenario, her disdain, the professional fallout, and the instant embarrassment that would surely follow. But 5 minutes later, his front doorbell shattered the silence of his small, cluttered home, and standing there was her, his life about to twist in ways he could never have imagined. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and unexpected moments that change lives, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Grandma Diery, because stories like these remind us that life is full of surprises. Jason had never been the type to take risks, especially not after the divorce that had left him raising a little girl alone. Every morning was a balancing act between school lunches, work deadlines, and bedtime stories that often ended with him yawning through the pages of picture books. His world was small, predictable, and safe. Until that text. Until the cold, perfectly composed CEO, Samantha Gray, appeared on his doorstep, heels clicking on his worn wooden floor, eyes narrowed, lips pressed in that signature professional line that rarely smiled. He couldn't even remember what he had typed. Something teasing, something foolish. Now it seemed like a crime. His life as a single dad felt completely inadequate compared to hers, a world of boardrooms, high-powered meetings, and champagne receptions. And yet, here she was, in his messy kitchen, shoes off, her gaze softening as she looked at the chaos around him. The toys, the laundry pile that had been growing for days, the faint smell of burnt toast lingering from breakfast. "I got your message," she said quietly, and Jason felt his stomach drop. He braced for anger, for laughter, for rejection. Instead, she held out her hand for his daughter, Lily, who had peeked shyly from behind his legs. "Can I meet the little mischief maker?" she asked, and the warmth in her voice was something Jason hadn't expected, not from someone who had built a reputation for being unapproachable. Jason realized then that the world could still surprise him. That mistakes, even ones as embarrassing as this, could bring unexpected opportunities. He had been struggling silently for months, financial stress, lonely nights, a constant fear that he wasn't enough for Lily. Seeing Samantha, seeing her interact with Lily as if she belonged, as if she understood, cracked something inside him. For the first time in a long time, he didn't feel so alone. Over the next few hours, the tension melted into laughter and stories. Samantha stayed longer than she had to, sharing anecdotes from her corporate life that Jason had always only read about in newspapers. Lily giggled endlessly, daring to crawl into Samantha's lap and hug her tightly. Jason watched, heart swelling with something he hadn't felt in years, hope. And in the quiet moments, when Samantha offered him a sympathetic look, he saw a vulnerability behind her steel-clad exterior, a loneliness that mirrored his own. Days turned into weeks, and their accidental encounter evolved into something neither of them could have predicted. Samantha, once cold and distant in the office, began checking in on Jason and Lily, leaving groceries on the porch or dropping by with takeout when he worked late. She was meticulous, organized, and utterly fascinating. Yet with Jason, she laughed freely, letting her guard down in ways she never had with anyone else. For Jason, it was a lesson in resilience, in opening his heart despite the fear of being hurt again. For Samantha, it was a revelation that not everything could be controlled, that sometimes life's most beautiful moments came from chaos and mistakes. But life wasn't without challenges. Rumors in the office, the fear of judgment, and Jason's own insecurities constantly threatened to pull them apart. He worried she would realize how ordinary his life was, how messy, how unpolished compared to the world she commanded. Yet, each time doubt crept in, Samantha reminded him with quiet gestures, a note left on the fridge, a hand squeezed in passing, that love and connection weren't about perfection, but authenticity. The turning point came one rainy evening when Lily fell ill. Jason was panicked, juggling a sick child, his work deadlines, and his frayed nerves. Samantha appeared at his door again, umbrella in hand, insisting she could help. She stayed through the night, rocking Lily to sleep, making soup, and sharing stories to calm Jason's nerves. In those hours, he saw the depth of her compassion and realized that love wasn't about grand gestures or carefully constructed messages, it was about showing up, even when it was inconvenient, even when it scared you. Weeks later, Jason reflected on that first accidental text with a quiet smile. What had seemed like a catastrophic mistake had led to a bond that neither he nor Samantha could have orchestrated. Their lives intertwined, not through planning or strategy, but through vulnerability, courage, and a willingness to embrace the unexpected. For Jason, it wasn't just about romance, it was about hope, about realizing that even in the darkest moments of struggle, life could surprise you with moments of grace and connection. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, share, and comment on this video, it helps us spread stories of hope and second chances. Before you go, leave a comment telling us about a moment when an unexpected mistake turned into something beautiful. And as Jason tucked Lily into bed that night, Samantha sitting quietly beside him, he understood a truth that would stay with him forever. Sometimes, the wrong text at the wrong time could lead to the right love, the right family, and a future filled with laughter, warmth, and second chances. In the end, mistakes weren't failures, they were the beginning of something extraordinary.